Hello everyone, so today we are sitting on Wednesday the 16th August at about 2 o'clock and we're going to be doing another video. So we're going to be doing a bit of a traders recap session, a little bit of a live session. Um, we are actually trying out a new webcam and I really don't know if this is the one I'm going to be using because there's a bit of a flicker. Trying to fix it. Basically what we're looking at doing is live streaming sessions from our office. Lo and behold, there's going to be something really awesome coming up in about a month or two. I think it's going to be definitely something that no one does, and it's going to be pretty awesome for people who want to follow along with a team of traders. But for now, we're going to use this webcam. It's just basically so I can sort of give it a bit of a personal look, show you that I actually am a normal person sitting somewhere in the world, showing you what we do and showing you how we do it. So just to give you a start off, if you haven't had a look at the previous videos that have been uploaded, let me just give you a little bit of a breakdown of what you might want to have a look at, just to give you some reference. So just for starters, my name's Morgan. I run MS Equities Trading. We're a training institute. We teach people how to trade, invest, manage their wealth properly. And then I also do manage institutional portfolios for clients around the world. But we do that privately, so we don't have it out to the public. We work privately with some people around the world, and that's where we focus on. So I manage a team of guys that trade, and we all manage portfolios together. But our main focus is to show people how to do this as well. And obviously something that we're working very hard on is to make sure that we can show it out to all of you as well. So just to give you a little bit of a breakdown, if you have a look, we had some stuff on US dollar weakening, a video that came out. There was some good ideas. This video, generating trade ideas, we had some awesome trade ideas. I've already been able to make quite a great amount of profit off of those. And then we had some political trading strategies. So I just showed you a bit of a political trading strategy that I did quite well on. Then showing you some profits that we are making, as well as our trading forecast coming into this week. So you can see that was just on Monday, showing you a bit of a market setup, what we do and how we do it. And if you would like to have a really good look at what we really capable of, you can always have a look at the what can I trade video about OPEC oil. We pretty much called a massive swing in oil, and it's probably my best trade idea for the year, and I made the most amount of profit off of it for this year as well. Excuse me. So today what we're going to be doing is basically showing you a little bit of what we do and how things have been going. Now, what I'm going to be doing is showing you this from a perspective of a retail trader. Now, as you know, institutional traders and retail traders are completely different. Institutional traders usually have access to a massive amounts of liquidity. We're talking anything between a few $100,000 to a few $1 million portfolios. Retail traders, usually they're trading their own money. They only have access to, let's say, $1,000. Usually for some of my students, so the general amount is about $1,000 that they will be able to use. And then going up, sometimes some of my students might be able to use anything between $2,000 to $5,000. And then I've got some of my students who are able to put in, $10,000 to $50,000 in their portfolio. And then I work with the very, very few who are able to trade, the $100,000 portfolios. But the reason why I'm making use of using a retail account while I train all of you is to actually show you how you should be trading with a very small amount of money and what you should really expect to do. Because what I do is I trade an institutional portfolio, which is a very large portfolio, and I trade a retail portfolio. I want to keep them completely separate. My institutional, that is a different business, that is a private business transaction, and I have no interest in showing you that I can make whatever amounts of money where a lot of other people will do that. You have so many traders out there, and I'm not really bashing them. I'd like to actually use this as a sense of giving them inspiration to say, instead of posting up telling people that you made let's say $1,000 or $5,000 in a day off of this trade or that trade. And, half the time it's just you stacking up orders, like 7, 8 trades on, let's say, euro pound, and you caught 25 pips and you made $10,000. Well, that's fine. You surely can make money, but unfortunately people will look at that and go, wow, that guy must be a good trader. I can tell you right now, stacking 10 trades on euro pound at $10 a pip and catching 25 pips is not rocket science. It's quite simple. It's just incredibly high risk. So obviously you have a big upside, but you have a big downside. And when they have a big upside, they post this information out. That's not what we're trying to do. What we're really trying to do is, I rather boast and say, hey, I made 700 pips on a trade and it was a $70 profit, because then that's relevant to you. That's relevant to the retail trader out there that's actually trying to, take his little bit of money and understand how he can grow it properly and how he can grow it sustainably. Because once again, if you want to become the best you can possibly be at trading, you have to do it like the professionals do. You can't do it like a retail trader would, where they just go and throw money at the window and expect it to make a strong return for them. A professional trader, if they're managing, let's say, $1 million portfolio, they might want to make, let's say, $1,000 a week, and working out that over 52 weeks, let's say they only trade 40 weeks out of the year, they make 40% on their portfolio. Sorry, 4% on their portfolio. So that's like sort of saying, okay, well, $1,000 a week might sound awesome. That's $4,000 a month, but that's only 4% at the end of that's only 4% at the end of the year for them. So, for, let's say, a retail trader now, let's say he wants to make $1,000 a week and he only has a $10,000 portfolio, then he has to make 10% a week. That is literally impossible. It literally is impossible. I know there are people out there that do it. I know there are, the people that are posting all their information out. But firstly, once again, I'd say anything between 50 to 70% of the rubbish that's posted out online of people making so much money is absolute rubbish. And the other half of it, or let's say 40 to 30% of it, is people actually really doing well. But it's not like you're going to land up doing that as well. You get so many people that think they can be like a Tiger Woods or a Kobe Bryant, when they step on the basketball courts or they step on the golf course, and then they realize it's impossible and they can't be. And retail traders have that all the time. So what we're basically doing is trying to show you that, let's say as a professional trader, we might focus, for myself, I focus on making anything between 3.2% and 3.7%. So that works out. I've actually got it up on my wall here. So that works out at 0.167% per day that I need to make. So I'm looking at making 0.835% per week, which is basically, let's round it off to 1% a week. So if I use the exact figures, that works out at 40% profit per year. So 40% profit per year is like nearly 5 to 6 times inflation, depending on where you are in the world. That is a frighteningly good profit. But the thing is that if, one of my students, as an example, he opened up $1,000 portfolio and he was like, I want to make, excuse me, he said, I want to make $10,000 by the end of the year. And I said, well, that's a 900%. He said, I want to have $10,000 in my portfolio by the end of the year. So I said, well, that's $9,000 profit. That's like anything between like if he compounds it, that's like 400%. By the end of the year. That's impossible, and I've seen people do it, but so many of them will also blow their accounts and they'll run into serious problems. So that's what I was doing when I started out, and luckily I only blew 2 very small trading accounts when I started out, but I tried to swing for the fence and I kept on failing. And now when I'm able to trade an institutional account, I was able to show them, when I first started out, I said to the clients I was working with, I said, look what I can do with a $5,000 account. And, the first thing they said to me was, how am I able to maintain such consistency and capital preservation at the same time? And, I said to them, money is just a number. I don't really care about what I'm making. I just care about the fact that I can make, let's say, 1% per week with 1% every 2 weeks. And I said to them, it's because I have a goal in anything between 5 to 10 years time that I can manage a 12 to $20 million portfolio, and I can actually make 1% a week, and have enough money to go out and buy myself a new supercar every single week. But the thing is that if I don't start acting like that now, I'm never going to get to that point. If someone tries to get onto a team and they show that they can be conservative and the best that they can possibly be with this little bit, then if you give them that much, they're going to do well. But so many students that come to me, they'll throw the ball at the fence. That they'll absolutely hit their trades out the park and they'll do well, but their risk exposure is massive, and they will actually make anything between 30 to 50% every quarter. So let's say they might be making 150% a year, but they'll come to me on a good quarter and they'll say, look, I made 50% this quarter, and then I'll say to them, okay, let's talk next quarter, because I always try and push it out 3 months, and I swear to you, 3 months later, they've either halved the profits or they're not going to come back to me. And it's mainly because they've gone for the fence too many times. And what I mean in going for the fence, it's a baseball term where you try and hit the ball out the park. If you're swinging to get the ball out the park every single time, at some stage you're going to strike yourself out. So what we're focusing on is saying, even if you've got $1,000 portfolio, focus on the very small gains. Focus on working really well at it. And then you can build a consistent track record. You can do really well. And you can go to companies out there in the world, I've been able to do it with my students as well, where my really consistent students, I'm able to back them with capital and be able to actually give them a much larger account that they can trade with, and they can actually make a lot more money. And, the biggest goal on top of that is that I not only can do that, but I'd be able to do things like hand them on to other companies around the world. And there's so many companies around the world that we've been working with, and my main goal is to be able to turn people into really, really strong and proficient traders and long-term traders and keep them in the game for long runs. So we do work with people that might be retail traders that just want to trade their own money and do that. And we work with traders like that, and they're awesome to work with. But for some of the guys that want to become those top-level institutional traders, we're trying to get them there. We're trying to give them the strong track records, the strong training. And so the reason why I'm going to show you what I'm showing you now is specifically because we want to make sure that we can show you what a retail account should look like if you want to become an institutional trader. And I looked across the internet, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm yet to find a trader, like a very good trader who trades institutional, that has actually opened up a retail account and shown them shown like the public how to trade with a retail account. And I'd love to see that. There's so many big names out there, and so many guys I look up to as well. But if any of them would be able to do something like open up a $10,000 account or even a $2,000 account, and show you how you can consistently grow that profit, and show it in a professional term. I'm not saying show it like, oh, 10 months later he's turned into $20,000. I mean, use the exact same principles he applies to a massive portfolio that he does to a small portfolio. And I wouldn't necessarily use small cap equities, because those guys really hit the ball out the park all the time. And to not speak down of someone like Timothy Sykes, but he did this. But the thing is that he turned $2,000 into, like, I don't know, it was like $100,000 while he was traveling around the world. Well, that's what he claims. I'm not going to say it's false, but the thing is that there's almost no one else on the planet that's like him, and that's the biggest problem. Is he's saying do what I do, but I'm sure out of so many students he trains, he only has a minute portion that can actually do what he does. So what we're looking at doing is finding someone who can actually track it on a professional, strong track record and show how you can grow it really consistently. So that's what we're doing. And I'm showing you exactly how to use the best risk exposure, and showing you what you should be expecting back from your own accounts. So what is the money that you should be making in the long term? So what we're going to do is take a piece out of the August month, also because a lot of the videos that we've uploaded this month, we're doing a lot more uploads. We've got a lot more projects in the pipeline to make the videos like much better. do much better content, because we're growing fast, and we really need to be able to do that. But our biggest focus is to be able to show you this account and show you exactly what we've done in the month of August, and what we're really anticipating to see it grow into. And I'm never going to actually add to this account. You'll actually see there's been one or two withdrawals and then a deposit back. It was just because there were some issues that we went through on this trading account, and we were thinking of moving it out and starting up a new account. It wasn't that we lost a whole batch of money on it or anything. It's still, everything's fine. But we basically are going to reopen probably $1,000 accounts every single quarter, and then show you the quarterly progress, and then open it again and quarterly progress, and open it again and quarterly progress. Because for me, on top of this, I've got my institutional portfolios running, so I have no problem with trading a small retail account as well. So what I'm just basically going to do is pop into a few trades, show you what we're actually doing, but obviously going into some of the other videos and having a look at them is also going to be more important for you to actually understand what else we're doing. So we're going to just run over a few small things. This video is probably going to run a bit long, so if you guys are not interested in having a look on how to use a retail account really well and a few professional techniques that you can use, then you can pretty much close off the video. But to any of you who's really interested in finding out some of these tips, make sure to stay tuned. We're going to get through this as fast as possible. So I'm not going to actually do too much on some trade ideas that I've got running, because this week has actually really played out well. I've pretty much made my target for the week, and I'm not too interested in stepping back into the markets. But we had some really powerful things turn out this week. So just to show you, basically, I'll show you a custom period from, I'm just going to take from the last week to show you what's happened. So this is obviously on a live account. So you can see that here, profit and loss on these closed trades. I'm not going to show you all the live trades because I'm not too interested in showing you what is happening or what could be happening. I'd rather just show you the past history and work over that, because I'm really not interested in trying to show you what we do with live positions and stuff. That's completely different information. But this week I managed to hit a few big trades out the park, which I'm very happy with. So on my institutional account, these numbers look very, very different. On my institutional account, I traded a much higher risk exposure, a much higher lot size. But as you can see here, trading at a lot size of 0.01, that's 10 cents a pip. I entered a trade this morning. Funny enough, I was at my mechanic, and we were having a chat. And next thing I hear my phone ping, and I had a pending order waiting on the pound US dollar, and it actually came out from an alert from a colleague of mine, and not really, sorry about the phone, not really an alert, but he analyzed some technicals and I really liked it, so I had a look at it. So basically it was on the pound US dollar. It was a technical based trading strategy. You can see I made $9.44. So I'm actually also going to throw up my Twitter account here, because if some of you don't know, on my Twitter account you can also see, so every single time I close a trade, it posts up exactly what I made on that trade. So it shows you, as an example, I'm just going to throw it up here. I hope you can see this. It's going to zoom it a bit. So you can see here this morning, it does update a bit slowly because it's coming from my FX book, and that sort of takes some time to get running. But you can see today closed a buy order for 47.2 pips, a total today of 47.2 pips profit. So I don't have any other trades I've closed out. And then I just said earlier today, I said I didn't find a good entry, managed to enter today and catch a 45 pip spike, all thanks to a post from buy and sell traders on Instagram. So I follow an Instagram page called Buy Sell Traders, and every now and then they post out some really good opportunities. I'm not promoting them in any case or anything like that, but you saw that I've put the name up there. So if you want to have a look at where I got the information from, you can also do that. But you can see as well, I closed out a buy order for 3.4 pips yesterday, and that was because I wasn't really happy on how the position was going. If I can show you here on pound US dollar, I basically I had entered right over here on this position. So I'd entered on this bearish candlestick, and on the bullish candlestick it sort of hit a spinning top, and I could see it was struggling to push to this 13 EMA on the 1 hourly. So I decided that I was just going to close out my position, and I expected there to be a retest over here. So if I have a look at my account history, so I closed this out for a 34 cents profit at 10 o'clock, 10:45 in the evening. So if we have a look at 10:45, that was around about 10:45 was around about here. So it was actually on this bullish candlestick from what I can see. No, that's actually wrong. Let me just double check where the time period, the timestamp is. So I opened it at 6:30. So 6:30 was around about here. Okay, so I actually opened it much closer. So I sort of opened it on this bullish push up to the top. And it was because there was a retest on the 4 hourly. So if you have a look here, we're looking at a 4 hourly push here. So you can see this upward support trend line. You can see that it had been tested here twice, tested here again, and tested here a last time, and there was a massive sell-off yesterday as well. So there was a massive sell-off against the pound US dollar. I'm not actually entirely sure what numbers may have came out. Oh yes, yesterday the retail sales came out on Tuesday. The retail sales looked really, really good. Retail sales excluding auto, so the US dollar strengthened a lot against that, and obviously there was a massive fallback. And then there was some really bad news that came out on the pound. CPI numbers just missed expectations by like 1 point. I think there was a slight overreaction in the market. I was really expecting a lot less than that. So you can see here, I'm just on my FX book. So you can see here, CPI numbers just missed anticipation. And I really think there was an overreaction in the market, and I'm going to show you now as well. I'm actually trading an overreaction in the market on the pound. I really think the pound has space to strengthen, and I think that a lot of what people are doing right now is, they think that Brexit means bad, and I really think it's just a transitional process. I feel that there is space to strengthen in the near term. I don't think over the long term pound is going to strengthen. A lot of analysts have it sort of going up to a very weak level against the euro. So they really think euro pound is a bullish trade, but I think over the next few weeks you're going to see a bearish trade. You're going to see a lot of people stand in against a lot of the speculation on Brexit and stuff. So that's what I'm pretty much holding on for the moment. But you could see pound numbers came out really bad. Dollar numbers came out really good. But once again, I think that it was an overshoot by the pound. So when I had a look at this technical trade, obviously on the sort of almost triple bottom upward trend support line, I sort of thought to myself, well, okay, so it is a technical based trade. It is going to be an opportunity to speculate. So I usually call technical trades speculative opportunities. So it's pretty much, it could go right, it could go wrong. But because there was the fundamentals behind it, I really thought pound overshot its bad news. I really thought that there was space to move backwards, and I thought the same thing for the dollar. I think that the dollar is. I did a previous trade analysis on the video called Will Dollar Continue to Weaken? I think dollar in the long term will strengthen. Please watch the video to explain. But I really thought that dollar is not necessarily ready right now in the short term for this week. So what I saw here was, obviously I exited my position. I thought, let me see if there's going to be a retest. So I entered an order pretty close here. I entered a pending order for 0.002, excuse me, which is 20 cents a pip in US dollar terms. And I basically entered a pending order. I set my stop very low. I set it at about $2.70 loss, and I set my take profit right the way up here, sort of in the region of. I set it about over here, so I set it give or take 80 pips away, and I closed it for a 47 pip profit. So what actually happened was I had to drive all the way out quite far away to my mechanic to get him to help me out with some stuff in my car, and on my way back I was stuck in traffic, and I thought, let me check my position, and my position was pushing a $9.44 profit on my retail account. On my institutional portfolio, I actually hit the trigger a little bit earlier, and I was up quite a lot more. So on my institutional portfolio, I closed out immediately because my institutional portfolio has been performing really well. So I was out of those positions, and then on this, I was basically sort of thinking to myself, okay, let me have a look, let me see how I can engage in this process, and I decided I was going to close out for a $9.44 profit, mostly because this week as well, I'm already up over 1%. I'm up about 1.25%, give or take, this week. So I realized, I'm up, let me just take these profits. And also because it was a speculative trade, it was a very short-term trade against a bearish trend. I mean, this trend is bearish. It's not like buying on a bearish trend is a very clever idea when the only thing you've got to support it is technicals and sort of average fundamentals. These fundamentals weren't, hit the ball out of the park kind of thing. It wasn't massive fundamentals, massive moves. It was relatively small numbers that came out, small differences in numbers. But the market is very delicate right now because of North Korea, because of a lot of unsettling things with stuff like Venezuela, with problems with their oil, Russia snapping up all of the oil. You've got OPEC running around having no idea how to regulate oil anymore. I have no idea what they do. They've been around for, I think they were formed in 1967. And they have no idea how to regulate the processes that they're running right now. So there's a lot of very delicate moves in the market happening, and I felt that I wasn't interested in staying this for the long term, more specifically because I was in some other positions. And that takes me to this position. So this is a position I've been talking to a lot of people about. On my retail account here, you can see there are quite a few positions open. I did stack a few positions, and what had happened was let me actually take out this. Let me do custom period. Let me do for the last month. Okay, so you can see for the last month we're up $50 in profit. You can see there was a withdrawal and then there was a deposit. So we've put back in the accounts what we took out. But basically, I'm just going to have a look very closely here. I'm just going to organize the symbols. So you can see on US dollar, Japanese yen, I had US dollar, JPY. I had two orders here, sell orders that closed out really, really small. Now, the reason why they closed out, because I really thought the market was ready to turn, and I actually held those as hedged positions. So these positions were held hedged on this point here. And basically what had happened was I entered those positions to hedge them against my previous position. So basically what had happened was I entered two buy orders expecting, and this was an intraday trade, so there was something happening within that candle there that I really wanted to try and capitalize on. It went into a bit of profit and just kept on plummeting and kept on moving downwards. But because I had my sell orders in, I thought, let me just hold those. Came right back down, moved straight back up to the top here. So I entered an additional buy order on this bottom here. And I still had my sell orders open. This moved straight up into this region. I closed out both my sell orders, and lo and behold, the market just started to move back down and started to slide away from me really, really fast. But what I did understand is there was a 61.8 retracement in play, number one. Number two, there was a daily technical based trade in play. So if I have a look at the daily charts, you can see there's basically a V wedge right over here, and you can see we're spotting higher highs on 4 different occasions, followed by level tests on this horizontal, which basically means I'm expecting the market to move up into this region here. And more specifically, because what we analyzed against the Japanese yen has had a really good run for the last sort of 3 to 5 weeks. And I really feel there is going to be time for it to retrace. A lot of people have seen that. US dollar, Japanese yen, good retracement. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, relatively okay retracement. Now we're waiting on pound Japanese yen. You know, pound Japanese yen is a big currency to trade. It's, you know, one of the top currencies against the Japanese yen. And it's slow to the market. It's still gone bearish. And that's because the pound numbers that have come out have been really bad as well. So you've got pound that's bad, and you sort of saying, you know, I want Japanese yen to be bad, but the problem is because pound's bad, it's leveling them out. So what we're really looking for here is Japanese yen to lose its strength and obviously go up in value against the pound, and we're looking for pound to find some good news, some solid ground to pull down, and then that's obviously going to show a bullish move on this exchange chart. So obviously that's what we're waiting for. So there's a lot of fundamentals in play as well. You know, there's a lot of very strong fundamentals, and obviously I've got my stop zone set if I do hit a really bad trade. I don't have the stop set on this account. Actually, I should probably get my stop set, but I've got a pretty good justification that I'm going to hit a good position on this and hit quite a good profit. So we've got a target a zone of about $60 profit on all of our positions, and we have a few orders open over here. So I have a total of, I'm just gonna have a look here, I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions open on pound Japanese yen, all at 0.01. So if I aggregate that, it's a total of 50 cents value per pip that I've got open on this position. So it is a relatively large exposure, but I've also got it offset against the euro pound as well. So I've got sell orders offset against the euro pound, and I really do feel those are going to play out. That is a really strong position. So I've offset it against 5 0.01 positions on euro pound as well, selling euro pound. Obviously euro pound, if this trade plays out, the euro pound will play out, and the reason is because the euro pound is a really strong technical based strategy. So that's what I'm doing. I'm balancing out my portfolio. If this goes bad, I'm expecting euro pound to still do well, and if euro pound goes well and this goes well, we're going to make a lot more than we expect. So if you know, shit really hits the fan, we're going to expect to still come out maybe with a little bit of profit or a slight loss. So that is a specific reason why I'm going to hold this position for the long term. Also specifically because, as you've seen, the past sort of 4 candles, even though they have been very big spiking bullish candles, so very long wicks, very small bodies, they are bullish and they keep on moving upwards. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a long spike. And if you have a look at these candlesticks, obviously go and take some time on the pound Japanese yen, because, you know, I'm moving around. I'm going to give you a headache if you're trying to look at the candles. But have a look at the size of the spiking candles. You know, as an example here, we've got really slow into the market. So we've got 4 candles, or 3 candles, very slow, long wicks, followed by a bullish engulfing candle and a massive bullish body candle, almost 225 pips long. So if we have a look here, you know, we can probably have tomorrow, let's say tomorrow, if I have a bullish engulfing body candle, then I'll probably, I might not actually, I'm probably not going to. On this retail account, we might have an additional candle that enters, that's a strong body candle, and it's going to take out all of these take profits, and we're going to have a really good profit to take home. But that's what I'm doing, is I'm balancing it against the euro pound trade that I'm using with the pound Japanese yen trade, and that's working very well. So I've got a few orders open on the pound Japanese yen as well, and on the euro pound, which is very important because that's making sure my portfolio is balanced and that I'm going to come out in a profit, because right now I'm in a little bit of a loss. So that's also something, you know, I don't really worry about. You know, I'm not looking at my portfolio being in a loss if I know that over the long term, sorry for hitting the mic, if I know if over the long term the portfolio is going to play out very strongly. And, you know, in terms of this, it also takes patience, because, you know, for me, I really don't mind about what I'm making on this account. So obviously that's a different psychological connection. You know, I don't worry about making £50, $50 on a trade, um, on a retail account. I, will worry about if it's 1,000 or 2,000 or $3,000, but that still doesn't matter, because for me, I really actually don't care about money. I'm not careless. I'm very careful with my money. I don't just go spend it everywhere, but I really I don't care one bit about the financial aspect of money. It's just a number. It truly is just a number. And if you manipulate your variables very carefully, so your percentage returns every single week, and you slowly but surely focus on it, you build a strong track record, and you focus a lot on becoming a consistent and professional trader. So you're acting professionally. You can get an amateur boxer that goes in and boxes and trains like a professional. And you know what's going to happen? One day he's going to stand up against a professional and he's going to look really good. He's not going to look like an amateur. And that's what we're trying to say. We're trying to say act like a professional so you can become a professional. It's all in the mindset. Conor McGregor said it so well. He said perfection is an attitude. And it truly is. It's an attitude. It's how you act and how you feel. So if you want to go and swing for the fence every single time and try and make as much money as you can on a small retail account, I can tell you right now, either it's going to work for a bit and then you're going to lose your money, or you're just going to lose your money immediately. And this is not a speculation. This is actually from the experience. I've worked with, anything between maybe 100 to 250 students. And on top of that, I've worked with people, I've spoken with a lot of people that are pretty vocal with their experiences and what they've done. And you won't believe how many people I know have done this, where they just swing for the fence. Their first 3 months, they might make, $5,000 or $6,000, and then they add to their portfolio. This is the worst part. They'll add to their portfolio and then wipe all of it out. So what we're trying to say is do it really professionally. And what we're doing is we're showing you how to make a really good return with small amounts of money. So if we have a look here on my account history, so this account is sitting on about I think it's about $1,400. And you can see here, so we're sitting at about a $50 profit for this month, and we're sitting on the 16th of the month. So I've got about I've got about 10. Let me have a look. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I can't believe it, I got it right. I got about 10 days left worth of trading, so 10 weekdays. So I think if these positions play out, which I think they will, we're probably going to be up on at least $100 profit for the month. And if I have a look on my FX book, oh sure, it's not updating now. I think I'm up about 3.25% on my retail accounts. Yeah, okay, well, okay, it's just updated, so it's just pushed through the US dollar, where's it now? Time closed. Pound US dollar, it's just actually listed it up. So that's going to be a total for this week. I've made 1.85% this week, so it's over double what I want. And then this month I'm up 4.12% on this portfolio. So this retail portfolio, I'm up 4.12%, and I'm up, I'll probably, by the end of this month, I'm hoping for anything between 5 to 8% profit, which is a lot. I'm really just aiming for 3.5%. On my institutional portfolio, I'm sitting up relatively well. I'm not going to give you numbers on that. It's not going to help anyone. But if I have a look, I'm just having a look at some of the history that I'm using here. Okay, so basically what I'm having a look at here is I've been able to capitalize quite strongly on a lot of the positions that we're listing out. So if you have a look, we do list out a lot of live trading sessions. We list out a lot of that information, but not a huge amount, because a lot of the stuff that I trade, I don't have time to alert it to all of my students. But every single week we send out quite a big trading plan showing everyone exactly what markets we're looking at, what are we doing, how are we doing it, everything. And I'm not going to list the stuff up now because I have uploaded big videos showing you like exactly how my trading plans work. You can download them, you can look at them, you can look at the track record, you can look like 4, 5, 6 plans in the past, and you can see how those have played out. So we've had quite a few trades go really, really well, and a lot of the trades that haven't gone well, they really haven't lost us a lot of money. So we've been very happy about that, which is obviously also very important for us. But in terms of what we're currently doing, that's our main focus, is to work as closely as we can with our students and make sure that every single week when we're sending them out mentorship programs and working with them as much as we can, that they are actually doing the best that they can possibly do as well. So for any of you who are interested in finding out more about what we do, make sure to have a look at our website and navigate everything. It tells you about what we do, where we come from. And if any of you are interested in gaining access to our training academy, I'm just going to show the information up for you now, just in case there are some of you who are wanting to know more. You can see there, so we do basically foundation training access, mentorship program, bonus content training, private coaching as well. That is in a single cost access for a 12-month period. We charge our $495 to international customers. Local customers based in South Africa, that's about 6,750 Rand. And then we do offer scholarships as well. So if you are under the age of 25, we offer you a huge discount as well. On top of it, we have a payback program where we actually pay back the cost of your course as you trade on our brokerage platform. And on top of that, we also allow you to join our ambassadors program and work for us. So being able to work for us and earn money while you trade and also while you learn as a student is great. So a lot of my students don't even have to worry about what they're making from trading. They can actually just join the ambassadors program and make money in that way. And then on top of it, we do also offer internship programs. So you can actually come and work with us or work for us as an analyst or a trader, and we'll actually groom you and turn you into a strong trader or portfolio manager. And we'll also be able to refer you on to other people in the industry. If you want to go work for an institutional company, a hedge fund somewhere out there, we'd be able to assist you with that. Make sure to have a look, make sure to see what we're doing. I really want to help promote this idea of being able to show you a level of transparency that no one else is showing in the market. Be able to show you how a retail account should look, how you should be trading it, and how I really feel is going to be the most important aspect. So obviously the lessons you can take home from this today is firstly, focus on your execution points as well. Focus very closely on understanding why you're executing at that point, understanding your trade ideas very closely, understanding the difference between technicals, fundamentals, everything you are doing. Thirdly, lot sizes and risk exposure. Stop swinging for the fence. You need to be professional about this. You need to treat it like it's $1 million portfolio, and $1 profit is like $1,000 profit if you're trading $1,000 portfolio. If you're trading $1 million portfolio, $1,000 and $1 is exactly the same. It's literally like 0.01%. So that's the thing, that's what I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on understanding exactly what the value of money is. It's worth that much. It's worth zero. What truly is meaningful is your track record. How successful are you? Pulling 5 pips from the market, stacking 5 orders at $10 a pip is not skillful. That's pretty easy to do, but it's high risk. You can get that wrong. But being able to do this, pull 70, 80, 90 pips from the market every single day and accumulate that to be anything between 1,000 to 2,000 pips a month on a very low risk exposure is what we call really professional. That's what we call really good. Sure, if you are trading short term, you do like order stacking and it's working for you, I'm not going to tell you to change it. You know, this is not the only strategy that works. There are other strategies out there that do work. But what we're saying is, if you feel this is something you prefer, make sure to get in contact with us, have a chat with us. We'll make sure to help you out the best we can. But once again, if you just want to have access to some really awesome free content, make sure to subscribe and follow us, follow along with what we do every single day. And I'm sure you're going to like a lot of the videos that we're posting out. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for all of you who are tuning into this video. Made it right to the end. I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers for now, everyone.